Thank y'all so much for joining us here on WMBF Extra Point. Another great game set for tonight in the Grand Strand area as the 2-1 Waccamaw Warriors try to serve the 2-0 Johnsonville Golden Flashes their first loss of the season. It's senior night here at Waccamaw High as the school honors a group that will be greatly missed next year. The Warriors looking to hold down the turf, but Johnsonville is a tough team. Gotta watch out for them. Warriors starting on offense, but they can't even pick up a yard as they're brought down by a strong Johnsonville defense that's only given up one touchdown so far this season. Then it's Johnsonville's turn. Quarterback Malik Shippey makes the pass off to Daquan Burrows, but he slips in the backfield. Warriors back with the ball. It's 3rd and 1. QB Jarrett Yonker plows forward to pick up the yard and the first down of the game. But next play, not even 7 minutes into tonight's matchup, the lights go out. And even though I don't think this was intended to be a blackout tonight, that's what it becomes. A tree falling on a power line outside the stadium puts this game into a delay lasting over an hour. But when the lights came back on, it would be all Johnsonville as the Golden Flashes beat the Warriors 28-7. The Aynor Blue Jackets hosting the Lakewood Gators out of Sumter tonight for their first game in 3 weeks. Aynor wins the coin toss and takes the ball. Offense wasting no time getting started. Quarterback Daniel Stanley keeps it himself for the big gain down the left side. Then just a few plays later, blink and you'll miss it. Emmanuel Dees takes the direct snap from the center and bursts through the middle for the first score of the game. Blue Jackets up 8-0 early. Next possession, the Aynor offense keeps rolling. This time it's River Johnson taking the shotgun and snap, and it's a race to the pylon. Johnson gets across the goal line to make it 16-0 in the second quarter now. 16-7 is the score. Blue Jackets keep the defense guessing as now it's Cole Johnson in the backfield. He takes the snap, and after breaking the first tackle, a second effort makes it 24-7. Blue Jackets roll in this one for their second win of the season. 54-28 is your final. Also in Class 3A, the St. James Sharks travel to Lake City to take on the Panthers. The Sharks would swim away with another win by the final of 20-13. Meanwhile, the Manning Monarchs look to stay undefeated against the Lake Marion Gators, but in a shocking twist, they would lose their first game of the season 27-13. Another team looking to stay perfect on the early season, Marlboro County put their record on the line against Oceanside Collegiate. The Bulldogs would lose at home, dropping to 2-1. Final score tonight is 21-0. Moving to Class 2A now, something had to give as both the Darlington Falcons and the Sherrall Braves look to get their first win of the season. The Falcons would continue to struggle even though they made it a close game, but the Braves would win it 7-6. And Hannah Pamplico brought their swords to the land of the Yellow Jackets to take on Andrews, but Andrews would sting the Raiders 32-12. Finally, Skeesa's Trinity Collegiate faced off against Mullins. Both teams looking for their first wins, and it would be the Knights who would come out on top. Final score is 44-22. Also in Class 1A, the Green Sea Floyd Trojans hosting the King Street Blazers. King Street would earn their first win on the road. Final score winning it 32-8. Green Sea Floyds looks to rebound next week against Carvers Bay. Meanwhile, King Street will look to make it 2 in a row against Hemingway. Also tonight, Georgetown would travel to Carvers Bay looking to get their first win of the early season, but they will have to wait another week for that opportunity after losing 28-14. And Lakeview traveled over an hour away to Chesterfield to take on the Golden Rams. The Gators took a bite out of the Golden Rams after a 58-20 win. And Latta looked to defend home turf against the Lee Central Stallions. The Vikings would do just that, winning 30-0. Marion traveled to Hemingway to face the 0-3 Tigers. The Swamp Foxes would keep the Tigers winless after a blowout 62-0. The McBee Panthers would claw the East Clarendon Wolverines tonight 46-14. And finally, Lamar welcomed Andrew Jackson to the Fox's Den, but it's the Volunteers who would come away with the win 26-14. Let's get caught up on some Skeesa action now. The Florence Christian Eagles won their first game of the season against Orangeburg Prep 41-19. PD Academy wins 48-14 over Conway Christian. Carolina Academy would drop to 1-2 on the season after getting smoked by Bethesda Academy 42-6. Finally, Dillon Christian remains without a win, losing to Lee Academy 63-24. Well, we ran through all the highlights and scores, but there's one thing left to do, and that's show you your extra point game of the week. For this week's big play, we go back to Conway High School. Check out this catch by Derek Grant, running along the sideline, keeping his eye on the ball on the deep route, then taking it all the way to the house. A big play leads to a big win for the Conway Tigers over North Myrtle Beach. Man, that kid is fast. Well, thank you so much for joining us this week. That's all the time for this week's Extra Point. We will do it all again next Friday night, and you can find out all of tonight's scores and rewatch these highlights on WMBFnews.com. And of course, tomorrow we'll have highlights from the CCU game as they take on Gardner-Webb. Good night, everyone.